how do tribes form? Well, we've talked about it a little bit, but the three basic reasons are organically for experience or due to proximity. So if you're in the same locale, it makes sense to form a local group. What a lot of people think is that's it. Yeah, my local group is only ever going to be a maximum of 20 people because at any given time there's only 30 working artists in X town. And I think, well, why do you think your local group is the only group, the only tribe you've got? You could be a member of overlapping tribes, national ones, regional ones, local ones. You can meet with other tribes. There's different kinds of tribes. So sometimes proximity is really, really helpful, but don't let it put blinders on you. The other is expedience. Hey, you happen to know some of these people already. You've already got some momentum. One of them has already said, let's meet. That's why 90% of people do it, because somebody asked. It's amazing to me. Some people try to get a group together and they say, I can't ask anybody to join. And I'm like, well, then that group isn't going to go, because 90% of the reason people join is because somebody asked them. That's it. You know, when it comes to maybe Boy Scouts, maybe you're using the web and looking it up or something like that. But for most things, you do it because somebody reached out. Somebody said something. So you got to be willing to say something. And that's experience. Organically is just some other factor brought you together. It seems random or whatever. But if resistance isn't random, then maybe the opposite of resistance, and certainly the tribe helps us resist resistance, is not random either. Maybe there's a reason, you know, that we all sort of came together. It's just circumstance or happenstance. But these are the reasons tribes form. They form nonetheless deliberately. Even if it is locale, even if it is expedience, they form because one of you decides there should be a tribe. We should be more than, because expedience can just slip by. Locality, you can remain local without becoming a tribe. Happenstance, you can fail to take advantage of it. Somebody, and we call that person a founder, says this should be more than an accident. We should actually turn this into a thing. And this is the behavior I would like to encourage in each of you. I'd like to encourage you to look for how a tribe can form around you. And I don't mean you're the center necessarily. Being part of a tribe is great. What I hear people say is, I'll join a tribe, but I won't start one. And I'm like, great, which tribe do you want to join? Oh, we don't have a tribe yet. I'm like, okay. Well then, so what you just said is hypothetical and mythological. What you mean is you would join a tribe if such a thing existed, but since it's never going to exist and that's all you're willing to do, you intend never to join a tribe. It's not there. You can't say, I would absolutely take a pile of gold if it was next to me. And since it's not there, I won't do anything else to get gold. You know, that's a recipe for unemployment. So I don't want us to live in that unreality. The only way it works is if each of you is deliberately trying to be a part of a tribe. All right. Like any relationships, tribal relationships require continuous maintenance. So you can't just meet together, have a great talk, and walk away. You know, what is the purpose of an event or a gathering without an outcome, without an action plan, without a takeaway and next steps? My answer is it has no purpose. The fact that it felt good and you had some warm fuzzies and you exchanged, or even if you had some value, you get together, do a little education once. If you aren't capitalizing on the momentum of it, if you're denying the power of inertia, if you're saying, you know, yeah, that was really great, but you know, that was all there was, then, you know, it's kind of done. It doesn't have enough glue to make a tribe. So inertia is really important, whether it's a romantic relationship, family relationship, just a relationship with our dog, or a relationship to ourself, and our need to find out why we make art or why we do anything we do and dig deeper, grow our businesses. All of those relationships, even mano a mano, requires continuous maintenance. So it doesn't have to be all the time. It may sound like a lot, but you need to have, you need to have an intent to deliberately form a tribe or be a part of a tribe that actually exists. And you need to have the commitment that it's going to be consistent and regular in some way, whether it's once a week or it's every other week. You know, once it gets down to like once a month, it's usually pretty slim. Then it's just sort of a, let's get together and have good feelings, but there's no trajectory. So again, be thinking about slides 7 and 8. They seem simple, but they are really the crux. All right. This is Seth Godin. He wrote a book called Tribes, and the core quote from his book is, for millions of years, human beings have been part of a tribe, one tribe or another. A group needs only two things to be a tribe: a shared interest and a way to communicate. It really doesn't take a lot. You know, a shared interest, it doesn't have to be identical. So somebody says, well, shouldn't I just form tribes with other sculptors if I'm a sculptor? Well, no, because I mean, maybe you want storytellers involved in your tribe because you're trying to tell a story through your sculpting, and they're trying to represent the story they're trying to tell in some way that I don't mean you're literally gonna like team up and make art together, but I mean some diversity, some balance of skills and different interests in the tribe tends to make it stronger. So a shared interest is not a limitation. A shared interest is that there's at least something there. What I would say is the bare minimum is, coming out of CHF ought to be, if you're not interested in growing your business, and if you're not interested in thriving financially, economically, if you're okay sort of, sleeping on your brother's sofa and being poor for life, you can't be a member of this tribe. Or I'm not going to join your tribe. One way or another, we're not in the same tribe. We have very different interests. But beyond that, I think you can not worry about whether somebody's a realist or somebody's a figurative artist or does abstract expressionism. I don't think it has to be the same media. I don't think it has to be the same audience. I don't think it has to be the same genre. And you need a way to communicate. So that way to communicate is important. The Artist Federation chapters use meetup.com and email typically. You could do it all through Facebook and other means, but you also, don't forget the most powerful way to communicate is in person. So there's no substitute for the meeting. All right, you've already started building your tribe. You have your team that you're a part of now. You have your fellow advisor who is not only part of your tribe, but is part of other tribes. So right away, that person's bringing the concept of overlapping different tribes. You have other local artists in your area that are not part of your team. And I would assume that you are not living in complete isolation from them, and you have the ability to either sort of act like fellow travelers or congeal that into more of a tribe. You have other business allies, and again, there's different types of tribes. Sometimes just you have a group of 3 people you meet with coffee with, and that's not maybe your main tribe, but it's one of them. You have art industry contacts, and you have arts organizations. I would say that you already got some of this momentum. So when somebody says, I'm too introverted to build a tribe, I'm like, I think you probably haven't looked at your life lately. I mean, if all you ever do is stay home, maybe I believe you. But if you have at least some currency out there, I think that it's because human beings naturally do this. They naturally bond. They naturally form groups. They naturally create an environment of shared interests, shared values, and or other things that they share. So I think you've got momentum and inertia is the point.